Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here back with a new series. The name of this series, What If Naruto Was Separated from His Family. It's a story by Ricardus, and if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And today is going to be a single upload because I'm kind of busy today due to my family matters. Some of my relatives are visiting, so yeah. That is why I'm not going to be making any movie today, as well as not going to make any double upload. So hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's begin our story. Chapter 1. Well, the sharp question came from a woman sitting behind the desk. The woman had long red hair that flowed past her elbows. She was wearing a light blue cloak that had the kanji for first at the back. Her face was currently hidden by the hat she was wearing, as her head was bowed. There was a man standing beside her, his features currently hidden by the shadow casted by the banner above him. The banner was red and had a circle in the middle. In the circle was a swirl. The person she was addressing wore the standard Anbu attire, except that his was pure black. He was in a kneeling position as he faced through the floor, appearing before the woman. Upon hearing the question, he stiffened, feeling nervous. The woman took notice of this and knew she would not like what she will be hearing next. "We found him, Uzumaki-sama. He looks exactly like you have described, and was indeed in Konoha. From what we have observed, he was not being treated well at all. We noticed how the villagers glared and cast contemptuous looks at him." The operative paused before continuing. "The first time we found him, he was being surrounded and beaten by a group of drunks. While there were many witnesses, nobody was helping him. My team had to pose as Konoha police to stop them and disperse the crowd. We managed to rescue him from several mob attacks afterwards, without the knowledge of the ninja present in the area. The boy is indeed in a terrible state. He is thin and malnourished, hence why he also looks smaller than his age. He does not have a permanent place and sleeps in the darker corners of the streets and alleys in order to hide himself from the villagers. Your children have stayed behind to fulfill their part of the mission, while I came back here to give you the intel you requested." The woman waved a hand, acknowledging the report. The operative rose and took off his headgear, revealing a face with a dark blue eye, the other covered by his red hair. This man was known as Kaire Uzumaki. He was the head of Storm, an elite organization that only answered to the Uzukage. The woman sighed as she put down her hat, finally revealing a face familiar to us. Looking to the operative in front of her, she was none other than Kushina Namikaze ne Uzumaki, first Uzukage of the rebuilt Uzushio Gakure. "You did well. I will send a team back and with you to fetch him. Right now, I want you to instruct all Onbus, Jonin and Chunin, to meet me at the village's main stronghold at sundown. I want all members of Storm present as well." "Hi, Uzukage-sama." The Storm captain bowed and put back his headgear on before disappearing. A person standing beside her bent down and captured the Uzukage in embrace, finally revealing his notable features: crystal blue eyes and messy blonde hair that reached his neck. He was Minato Namikaze, Yondem Kage of Konohagakure, like the village hidden by wild tides and its inhabitants. He was believed by the world to be dead. Scene change a few nights ago. A young boy who looked no older than 4 was running from his life. His most notable features were his blue eyes, blonde hair, and 3 whisker marks on each cheek. He looked wild and starving. His hair was messed up, his clothes ragged, and his blood stains on it. He was being chased by a huge mob. He fled from after receiving a few hits. The boy suddenly screamed and fell on his knees. A kuna hit his leg. This gave the mob the opportunity to finally catch and corner the boy. They started to beat him, avoid hitting his head to keep him conscious, allowing them to torment the child even more. The boy was screaming in agony. The boy looked straight at a vacant spot opposite to him. He looked straight into the what seemed to be eyes of the watcher and begged to be saved. He was crying while screaming, "Mother, father, somebody, please save me," as the mob continued to pummel him. "No, please stop!" Kushina woke up screaming. She checked the time and found it was past midnight. "Kushina!" The man sleeping beside her woke that very same moment. "What is it?" "Minato, they're going to murder him. They're going to torture him. Oh, Kami-sama, we need to save him." "Kushina, please calm down. Tell me what happened." After a few minutes of crying, the distressed redhead finally calmed down and told her husband about the dream she just had. She told him about the boy, she told him about the villagers. She then realized the boy looked somehow familiar. This isn't just an ordinary dream. This is probably some kind of warning or some kind of vision. It's probably happening at the moment or has already happened. Minato absent-mindedly patted down his hair. Deep in thought. Minato? Inquired the woman, feeling nervous. Kushina. This may sound odd, but I had the same dream, just exactly the same as what you have told me. They were silent for a few seconds until Kushina's eyes widened and she screamed, Naruto! My baby boy is alive! And he's in danger! We must find him! Let me go! She roared as she frantically tried to escape from his husband's grasp. As he tried to placate her, Kushina, please calm down. I know what you are feeling right now. I am also his parent. I promise you we will do everything to rescue our son, wherever he is. But if we're going to find our son, we need a clear head in order to plan properly. I'm with you, okay? We'll find our Naruto. It took a while before the distressed mother regained her composure. Kushina, I'm going to check on the children. I believe I felt their chakra spike up. Something's going on. Alright. I'll meet you at my office. I'll go find Kaire. 30 minutes later. Uzukage's office. Mother, what happened? You've been crying. A younger version of Kushina inquired. Her name was Narumi Namikaze. She was the first child and eldest daughter of Minato and Kushina. She was 18 years old and a jonin. I'm fine now, Narumi. I had a bad dream. Narumi stared at her siblings with a questioned look. What kind of dream? What did you dream about? This time, a younger male version of Kushina inquired. He was Minako Namikaze, the second child and eldest child. He was 2 years younger than Narumi, and also a jonin captain of 3 chunin. Your father and I had a bad dream about a boy being beaten by a mob. Strongly believe it was Naruto. Another boy and a girl finished. Those two were twins. They got their facial features from Minato. Although unlike her twin brother, Miho got her mother's red hair, while Mio had orange hair. The twins were both chunin. They were 6 years younger than their older sisters. We also had the same dream, all 4 of us. Mio and I were awoke when Narumi and Miho woke up screaming. We were discussing about it before father called us. Flashback 4 years ago, unknown location. The Iwa, Kiri, and Kumo allied forces all attacked Uzushiogakure in 3 days. I want you to blend in with them. Your task is to kidnap Kushina Namikaze's newborn son. She is due to give birth to 2 days before the Allies forces attack. Schedule attack, take the infant during the commotion and bring it back here. Do whatever means you must. Failure is not an option. Understood. Uzushio Gakure 3 days later. Uzushio headquarters. Uzukage-sama, all enemies are within the trap's range. It's time for our counterattack. Very well. Begin. Hi. Father, let me help. No, Kushina. You just gave birth. You still need rest. And you should be besides Naruto. Your son needs you. He'll be fine. He's with Miho and Mio. Vin's also with the kids. She's a strong Konomichi, I know, but still, your children needs you, especially Naruto. Now, Kushina, go to your shelter with your children. But go! Worry not. Victory will be ours. Uzukage said, Rin-sensei! The twins shouted with concern. She's dead. And you're next, Brad. Maybe I should start with the youngest. A masked man entered the estate and started killing the household, including the twins, Sensei, Rin. No, we won't let you harm our baby brother. The twins moved in front of Naruto's crib to protect him from the masked man assailant, but the intruder vanished and appeared behind them and sent them crashing on the wall. Say goodbye to your brother. Forbidden art, dancing black flames, the masked man shouted as he tossed the infant into the air before incinerating it along with the crib. No! The twins watched in horror as their infant sibling became nothing but ashes. The masked man then turned his attention to kill the remaining witnesses while they were frozen in shock and despair. As he neared the two, he felt a huge chakra signature coming and immediately fled the house. 10 seconds later, Kushina burst into the estate and found the dead bodies of the household tenants. She felt a heavy sensation in her stomach as she rushed upstairs to where Naruto's room was. What she saw made her dizzy. Rin was lying on the floor, dead. Tears ran down the eyes of her twins, who kneeled on the corner, paralyzed with fear and despair. At the end of the room, the crib where her youngest child slept peacefully only a night ago was now a pile of ash. Naruto! Miho! Mio! Mother! Naruto! Gone! Incriminated! Miho said between choking sobs. Rin-sensei! Dad, Masked Man, he killed our baby brother, Neo whispered weakly as tears became rolling down from her face. Kushina fell to her knees as she started to stare at the pile of ash. Tears began to flow as her body shook, wreck of sobs. No, please, Kamisaba. No, my little Naruto. No, Naruto! Lucio Gakure 3 days later. Dead bodies can be seen everywhere, along with debris, fallen buildings. The once strong and standing village were now in ruins. Small flies can be still seen around the place stank of dead flesh and burnt wood. A small party from Konoha shinobi were inspecting the area, checking for survivors. Yashi, do you see anything? A man with long, spiky white hair asked. Nothing, Jiraiya-sama. They're all dead. I can see a chakra signature here. The only ones alive in the area are us, replied a man who had white eyes with bulging veins around them as he inspected the now ruined village. What a waste. They were our allies, Sarutobi. I told you they needed our help. If you ordered us to assist, then they might have survived. A pale man with long raven hair shouted, his words prolonging into hisses as anger rose. Shut up, Teme. If you wanted to help them, you should have gone without us. Yes, I really should have, but Sarutobi stopped me from going. I was restrained and you wouldn't even care because you were too busy peeping on women. I would have chosen because being branded as someone who disobeys order rather than someone who abandons their comrades. I thought the Uzumaki clan were strong, but look at them all dead. The weaklings did not deserve saving, scoffed a man with long black hair and red eyes. You fucking Uchihas think you're mighty and high. Admit it, Fugaku, you Uchihas are afraid of the Uzumaki clan. They are far stronger than you. You fuckers hate them because you can't copy their jutsus with your fucking eyes. That's enough, Orochimaru. Everyone, we're going back to Konoha. An old man with a pipe said, Yes, I had enough, Sensei. Orochimaru spat the word with venom. I am no longer affiliated with that stinkhole village that you called Konoha. I'm cutting my ties to it from now on. I am ashamed of a village who abandons their allies, Orochimaru proclaimed as he untied his hitayate and tried to shove it onto his sensei's hand, who would not accept. I would not allow you to leave, Orochimaru. You are a great asset to Konoha. If you do leave, I will mark you as a missing nin. Sarutobi threatened as he refused to take his apprentice Itate. Fine then, Orochimaru replied as he took out a kunai and made a long gash on his forehead protector, signifying his disowning of his now former village. Orochimaru, you can't do this! Fugaku exclaimed. Oh, but I already did. Goodbye, you traitors, Orochimaru said as he morphed into a small white snake and went underground. He's gone. I can't sense his chakra signature, Yashi said, Sarutobi sighed. We should hurry back to the village. We have to inform the council of Orochimaru's defection. Jiraiya refused to leave and waited for his teammate to return, but after a few minutes, he just sighed and nodded to his sensei. And with that, the 4 remaining Konoha nin left line. Unknown to the Konoha nin, they were being watched. The clan they believed to be extinct were simply hidden underground, protected by strong seals that blocked all senses coming from the outside. The dead bodies that littered the village were in fact the corpses of Kiri, Kumo, and Iwa shinobi, all dressed up with Uzushio Hitates, clothing, armor, and weaponaries. Their hair were dyed red to make them look like the fallen Uzumaki. The ruined city was only an illusion. Only a few buildings were actually destroyed. There were less than 15 casualties, and those were the main Uzumaki branch households. The Uzumaki clan remained and still stood strong. A week before the assault on their village, they were tipped off by someone unknown. They were informed that combined forces of Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri were going to try and assault their village. Driven by fear and envy, they formed an alliance and shared one common goal. The goal was to stop Uzushio from growing stronger and becoming one of the 5 great nations. Thanks to the warning, they were able to prepare, defend the city, and evacuate all villagers to the underground shelters. Despite their victory, the whole clan were mourned for the fallen, especially the Uzukage's youngest grandchild, Naruto. Believed incarnated by a masked man, the Uzukage's daughter Kushina was still distraught and mourning deep inside. She believed that her son was alive. She simply had not any leads or clues on where to find her little Naruto, and due to the order of the Uzukage, they were to remain hidden and to wait patiently. There will be a time for them to strike back and unleash their vengeance to those who were responsible of their village's supposed destruction and Naruto's death. For now, they were to make the whole world believe that the Uzumaki clan no longer exists and Uzushigo Gakure are now ruins. Flashback and the family were silent for a few moments until Kaide spoke. Alright, sister, could you tell me about the dream? How did my nephew look like? What of his attackers? Seeing his wife about to cry again, Minato decided to fill in his brother-in-law about his dream. I think the place looked familiar. What do you think, Minato? Kushina asked. I believe the place was near Konoha's outer skirts. How he got there, I don't know, Minato said. Kushina was silent for some time, her head bowed. When she finally spoke, her demeanor changed. Her voice was now carried power. All right, everyone, listen to me. I'm giving you a mission. Kaide, Narumi, Minako, Miho, and Mio. You are going to Konohagakure, Nosato. Kaide, I want you to gather information about my youngest son. Find out why they have him. Find out why he was being mistreated. Find out why nobody looked after him. Everything related about him. I want complete details. Narumi, Minako, Miho, and Mio, find your little brother. Keep him safe. Earn his trust. Tell him it's going to be alright. Tell him that we will rescue him from that stinking place. Do what you must. Once you find him, stay inside the Namikaze estate. Nobody will know you are there. The house is protected by seals and will only respond to those with Namikaze and Uzumaki blood. Kaide, I would also like you to find Nono Uzumaki. I believe she goes by the name Nono Yakushi. She also had a son named Kabuto. Get in contact with them. She doesn't know Uzushio still exists. Here are their pictures. When you return, we will discuss about what to do next. Present time, Konohagakure, the boy from their dream, was running for his life again. This was a daily routine for him. He was waking up early to scavenge for food while staying outside. During the afternoon, he would be found and a manhunt would commence. The villagers seem to have some kind of tracking device on him. Every night he will be taken to the hospital to get his injuries treated, only for him to get hurt again the next morning. Morning was the only safe time for him, since the villagers were busy with their works while some were still asleep. He didn't know eyes always followed him, eyes from the shadows, Anbu and the black operatives of the village, the ones who tipped off the villagers of his location. Unknown to all, 4 outsiders were watching the whole scene. As the boy turned the corner, the outsiders sprang into action and snatched him away. Hide seal activated and a clone of the boy appeared. The watching Anbu failed to notice this, as the exchange happened at the blind spot. The mob were non-divised and proceeded to pummel the clone. Namikaze stayed. Phew, that was close. Hey kid, are you alright? Asked the leader of the fort. Yes, whispered a scared and baffled boy. What happened? We were there and now we're here. We saved you. We used Fuinjutsu that activated once we caught you out of there. The seal produced a clone of you. We added a Genjutsu to make the transition perfect. It's the clone who think they'll be beating, replied one of the 4. Who are you? Why did you save me? And did you really save me, or are you going to beat me just for yourselves? Asked the boy, fear once again gripping his heart. He yelped as he felt arms wrapped around him and started to cry. Please, I haven't done anything wrong. Why can't you see that? I'm not a monster, just a human like you. The eldest of the 4 engulfed the boy into a hug. Why is this misspelled? Anyways, as he started to cry. Calm down. We're not going to hurt you. You're safe with us. Really? Asked the boy between his sobs. Yeah, my name is Narumi. The boy nodded and instantly became cheerful. My name is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. And I'm going to be one of the greatest ninjas ever. Believe it! His rescuers smiled at him, glad that he was still cheerful despite what happened to him earlier and the days before he was rescued by them. Say, Naruto, why don't we go to the kitchen and we'll get you something to eat? I'm sure you're hungry, asked Narumi. While the boy nodded, his stomach growled. When he heard the girl mention food, she then mentioned the other 3 to prepare something to eat. Where are we, by the way? Curiosity once again filled Naruto. We're here inside the Yondaim's home, our father's home. This home is protected with seals, nobody except us 5. No, we are here inside. I'm the eldest. Minako here is 2 years younger than me. Mio and Miho are twins. They are 4 years younger than Minako. Oh, Naruto said, feeling jealous and sad, as he didn't have anyone to call family. I wish I had a family too. I wonder if they're still alive. Akasan and Tosan. Wonder if I had siblings too. His 4 rescuers just started to stare at him with sad eyes. Say, Naruto, while you're reading, do you mind telling us your story? Asked Minako. Well, as you have seen, the villagers here hate me. Every day I have to run for my life to not get beaten, but they still catch me. I have no permanent place to stay, and so I hide in the village's darkest streets. And when I was 3, I was kicked out of the orphanage. I never understood why. They call me a monster, an abomination. I don't know what that means, and I don't even know why they did this. When I asked why, they said that a monster doesn't deserve anything. They blamed me for killing a lot of people. They blamed me for killing the Yondam and his wife. But how can I do such things? I was just a child. That's just stupid. I think they're just giving themselves a reason to beat me and hate me. Besides, I don't even know what a Yondam is. But I heal faster. Maybe that's why they call me monster. I love to beat me. Narumi nodded, urging him to continue. She understood about the fast healing since it's one of the abilities of the Uzumaki Clan Kekkeigenkai. Ever since I've been kicked out from the orphanage, I've been wandering the streets. I slept at random places in the village where it was dark so I can hide from the villagers. I got food from the dogs and in some occasions from foxes. They were the only creatures that were friendly to me. I do not know why, but they nicked food for me so I could eat. There were also some snakes. At first, I was afraid of them, but I started to like them when they saved me from mobs. Stray dogs, snakes, and foxes are my only family. Naruto, do you have any clues who your parents were? Or are? Asked Narumi. Naruto shook his head. My nurse told me my parents are dead. She figured that I was brought here from the Uzushio Gakure. She told me that the place I came from was destroyed. She also came from there when she was younger before she had her son. Nano-chan and Kabuto were the only humans who had been good to me. They tried to adopt me, but the villagers found out and asked for help from the bad clan heads. And after that, I never saw Nono-chan and Kabuto again, although I did believe the snakes were from them. Anyway, I can remember how my parents looked like, although the memories when I was still a child. Don't ask me how, I still remember it. I just do. My mom was beautiful. She had long red hair, and my dad, yellow hair, and his eyes were crystal blue, just like mine. The four stared at him, feeling excited. He just described how their parents looked like. I dreamed of them a few nights ago. I was getting beaten by a mob, and then I saw them. I knew they were my parents, I just knew it. So I tried calling to them. When I did, I woke up from my sleep. It was some kind of beautiful nightmare since I was getting beaten by the mob, even in my dream. But at least I got to see my parents. Naruto cheered at the last part. The siblings couldn't help but smile at Naruto's cheerfulness. They also heard enough. The dream wasn't just a dream, it was a link for them to find each other. They decided to let Naruto know who they really are. Naruto, the room interrupted. We haven't properly introduced ourselves yet. We had to confirm your identity first, but now we're sure. And the dream you mentioned was more than enough of evidence. Huh? What do you mean? Asked a confused Naruto. Naruto, your parents are alive. You have a family. You have siblings. There are more than one person who loves you, Narumi said in a whisper. We thought you had been killed when the Uzushio was attacked by Iwakiri and Kumo. The whole clan was so devastated upon finding out. We still had hopes up that you were alive out there. We just didn't know where to look at, since we also had to lay low after the attack and made the whole world think Uzushio Gakure no longer existed along with the Uzumakis. But a few nights ago, we four and our parents had the same dream just like what you told us. You were calling to them. They told us about it and recognized this place, so we were sent to look out for you. Naruto was silent. So Narumi continued. And so we came here and found you, Naruto. Our parents are also your parents. We are your siblings. Silence filled the room after the revelation. Naruto was thinking hard. After all these years, he thought he had no one. He thought his family was dead. The dream he had was linked to his parents. That gave him hope. Now his siblings have found him when his parents asked them to look for him. He has a family. A living family. Naruto slowly rose from his seat and then rushed to his siblings, tackling them into the hug. He was crying from both joy and sorrow. Oni-chan! Oni-chan! The four went to embrace their little brother. They were finally united. They stayed embracing for about 5 minutes. Naruto was in Narumi's arms as he cried himself to sleep. The news for him were too overwhelming. For the first time, he slept in peace, knowing he had someone who looked out for him. When he wakes up, he won't have to worry about the mob trying to kill him, for he had a family who'll protect him. Narumi carried Naruto to the bedroom and stayed with him since he slept, while his head on her lap, while she caressed his hair. Sleep well, Sato. Uncle Kaide will be back soon. We're going home, and our family will be whole again, whispered Miho as she kissed Naruto on the forehead. Back in Uzushu, backstabbing traitors! Cried Kushina as she read the files Kaide gave her. She found out that it was the Sandam Hokage who gave the orders to not help the Uzushu Gakure during the day of attack. It was Sandam who made the proposal with Iwa, Kiri, and Kumo to destroy Uzushiyo, giving them information on how to get inside. She also found out that the same man was the mastermind behind Naruto's kidnapping. The Namikaze family was made to believe that Naruto had been killed, and when the Allied Shinobi forces attacked their homeland, it was a part of plan to kidnap Naruto and destroy Uzushiyo. The report stated that it was Fugaku Uchiha who broke inside the Uzukage's house, killed the household, including the Uzukage's daughter's apprentice Rin Uzumaki, and cast a strong genjutsu to make the Rin see their little brother incarnated, and in front of them, putting the twins into a trauma that haunted them for years. Naruto was brought back to Konoha and was used to become the Nine-Tailed Beast jailer. The Yondam was oblivious to the fact that it was his son he was condemning to a harsh life. The use of the Shikai Fujin cost him his life. The Yondam's last wish was for the child to be seen as hero by the villagers, not a demon. The Sandam, of course, pat on his last wish. He was one of those responsible for the whole village's hate on the boy. It was him who spread the false rumor that it was the boy who killed the Yondam and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki. Konoha intended for him to become a Jinchuriki, a weapon for the village. The worst part was Naruto would be mindless thrown, having no feelings or thoughts, and only answer to the Hokage. The main conspirators along with the Sandam Hokage was the village elders Tanso Shimura, Koharu Utatane, and Hamura Mitokade. They were the ones who currently kindled the fire that was already within the villagers. When the Kyuubi attacked and killed their family, they made the whole villagers hate the boy and gave him a harsh life. It was the council's objective to have the boy beaten and tortured every day, so that when the boy reaches the age of 5, they will pretend to be good on him, to gain his trust and unknowingly play by their hands, following their orders and becoming loyal to the village, thus making him Konoha's ultimate weapon. Atu was afraid of getting beaten, so he followed his superior's orders. Although with the files for Naruto's medical history, they found out that Naruto had been beaten every day since he got kicked out from the orphanage. At the age of 3, they would rough him up and then he'll be healed in the hospital, only to get mauled again the following day. It was stated in the files that the Konoha Interrogation Division would try to erase Naruto's memories every time he was beaten. They didn't know that one nurse could care for Naruto, and she found out that Naruto remembered everything that was done to him. The boy had a total of about 600 medical records. One of the files was about him getting thrown outside the window of a high-story building when he was only 1 year old. Another one was him getting stabbed and electrocuted multiple times, burning his insides. That was when he was 2 years old. Another incident happened during the Fox Festival, October 10, Naruto's 3rd birthday. He was raped by a gang of drunken villagers. The boy had been tortured and beaten physically and mentally by the villagers countless of times. Sometimes they were too painful for Naruto. Some of the incidents were not listed on Naruto's medical records. Kushina broke down crying as she read the files. She couldn't believe that Konoha does these horrible things to his baby boy. They didn't to a 4-year-old, an innocent child, those monsters. Minato was shaking with rage as he too read the folders' contents. The villager he once served betrayed him. The worst part was they defiled his youngest son. They treated him like a monster. They starved him, tortured him, and they beat him every day. They were molding him to become the village's weapon. Minato hugged his crying wife. They had to be strong for their son. After all, they found him now. They were doing everything they can to rescue him and bringing him back to where he actually belonged, to his homeland, Uzushiokakure, to where his true family lived. 3 hours later, inside the Uzukage's conference room, the whole council was silent when Kunshida finished telling them about the dream, about her son, about the files they recovered, about what Konoha did to their son, and lastly about Konoha's betrayal to Uzushiokakure. Along with the council, with them were some all Chunins and some rank high-ranking ninjas as well. Most of the civilian members shook in rage as they listened to the village leader's tale and saw the documents. They finally know who the mastermind behind Uzushi's supposed to be downfall was. They all knew about what happened to the Uzukage's youngest son. Needless to say, they were disgusted with Konoha. Most of the women in the council were crying as they read the report. Minutes of silence finally broke when someone whispered, but loud enough for all of them to hear, "Konoha will pay for their crimes. Not only against us, but against Naruto-sama. He has suffered enough. More than us." There was a low murmuring along the council members, all of them agreeing Konoha was stood for so long with their wrongdoings unpunished. When this news goes out, it will be spread like wildfire. Soon all of the Uzushio will demand blood. One of the village representatives said. Agreed, but we cannot go to war yet. We must plan this thoroughly. Uzukage-sama's children are still in Konoha. We must decide first about who are going to be sent with Kaide and assist the rescue team that we sent, said by one of the clan heads. I second the opinion, said by another one. But who are we sending to retrieve them? Asked by one of the Jonins. I'm going. Minato said all eyes were on him. I'm going inside the estate via Harishin, and then I'll bring the children back here. We can decide about Konoha's fate later once the children are safe returned here. But I'll be needing 5 squads with me. We're conducting a little raid as well, Minato said coldly the last part. All shinobi present at the meeting wanted the volunteer for the set task. They wished to bring honor to their fallen homeland by avenging it and the Uzukage's youngest son. It took about 15 minutes for the council to decide, and they made their decision. And members of 5 teams were pegged. First squad will go to the Namikaze estate and take all of the belongings. Same goes for the second squad, who are going to be Uzumaki estate. As soon as the teams 1 or 2 arrive at their destination, they are going to bring immediately sealing everything. The third squad will go to the Hokage Tower and take all Namikaze and Uzumaki Clan jutsus that are ranging from D to Forbidden. The fourth group will provide the first wave of chaos while teams 1 to 3 do their work. The fourth squad will blow up the Hokage monument, more specifically my face. They think of me as their hero, yet they treat my son like some kind of monster. They fucking hypocrites. Fourth squad will also destroy as many buildings near the fourth monument. Fifth squad will be coming opposite the direction of the mountain, also destroying as many buildings as possible. While we're there, make sure you're all covered up. We're not to use any Suiton jutsus, do not blow our cover. We're not to be wearing an Uzushio headband. Once the first and second squad are done, seal everything. They are to blow up and destroy both Namikaze and Uzumaki estates. Once done, they are to head out to trash the eastern and western parts of the village respectively. Kaide and I will blow up the market district and aid other teams via Harishin. Once the third group are finished taking the jutsus, they are going to blow up the Hokage Tower, the signal the end of the raid. Well then, are all instructions clear? Asked Kushina. Hi Uzukage-sama. While we're going to raid Konoha for a bit, we'll bid more time and haste and strengthen our forces. We will gather some allies as well before we truly destroy Konoha. And if I remember correctly, Orochimaru is and still remain a friend of the Uzumaki. We also need to get in touch with him. That is all for today. The council looked towards the arrival of Naruto-sama. Very well, we will meet again once my baby back. Maybe he's back in my arms. The meeting is adjourned. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And this is Apollo with Chiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.